What if the eyes you dread the most are the very ones waiting to lift you highest? Have you ever stood at the edge of your dream and felt your legs turn to stone? Not because the path was impossible, but because someone might watch you walk it. We fear failure, yes, but deeper still, we fear being truly seen. So we dim our light, soften our voice, and call it humility. Yet the greatest success stories all share one moment, the moment someone decided to be seen anyway. Tonight we ask, why is the fear of being seen often the biggest obstacle to success? Step into a story that will shatter that fear like stained glass into sunrise. Follow a glassblower who learned that visibility is not danger, it is oxygen. In a mountain city carved from crystal and cloud lived a young glassblower named Arden. His workshop sat high on the cliff's edge, windows open to the endless sky. Arden could shape molten sand into miracles, swans with wings of frost, roses that held light like dew. Collectors from distant capitals begged for his work, yet no one had ever seen his face. He sold through silent runners, signed nothing, spoke to no one. His pieces arrived wrapped in plain cloth, no note, no name. The city called him the Ghost Artisan. They paid fortunes for beauty they believed came from a myth. Arden told himself anonymity was freedom. In truth, it was a cage with invisible bars. Each night he worked alone, fire roaring, heart racing at every footstep on the path. What if someone saw the boy behind the masterpieces, the clumsy hands, the scarred arms, the stutter that surfaced when nerves rose? He feared their judgment would shatter the magic, prove he was ordinary. So he stayed hidden, successful yet starving, famous yet unknown. Then came the year of the Great Exhibition, an event held once every decade. Every artisan in the kingdom was summoned to blow glass before the royal court, live beneath 1,000 watching eyes. The winner's work would crown the new palace dome, visible for centuries. A letter arrived sealed in gold. Arden had been chosen. He burned it in the furnace and pretended it never came. Weeks passed, 3 more letters arrived, each more urgent. The final one carried the king's own ring pressed into wax. Refusal now meant disgrace. Arden stood at his wheel, glass cooling into lifeless lumps. His hands shook so hard he could not hold the blowpipe steady. That night he climbed to the roof of his workshop, wind tearing at his coat. Below, the city glittered like scattered diamonds. Above, the stars stared without blinking. He realized he had 2 choices: vanish forever or be seen once. Neither felt survivable. Then he remembered something his mother used to say before she died. The glass only sings when it leaves the darkness. He did not sleep. At dawn, he began to pack. The royal city blazed with banners when Arden arrived. Every Goma street rang with hammers, wheels, and excited voices. He kept his hood low, his scarred hands hidden in sleeves. The exhibition hall was a cathedral of fire and breath. Furnaces roared like dragons along the walls. Hundreds of glassblowers rehearsed in the open, fearless, alive. Arden was given a station at the far end, number 47. He set up in silence, arranging tools like a soldier preparing for battle. Across the hall, he saw masters who had trained king's chandeliers. Their movements were proud, their laughter loud. He felt smaller than the punty rod in his grip. The first day was practice only, yet crowds already gathered. Nobles in silk leaned over shoulders, whispering judgments. A child pointed at a flawed bowl and laughed. Arden's stomach turned to water. He blew a simple vase and cracked it on purpose, just to end the gaze. That night, he sat alone in his rented room, hands over his ears. Every echo of laughter felt aimed at him. He wrote a letter of withdrawal and placed it on the table. Then he saw his mother's old necklace on the windowsill. A single glass teardrop she had worn until the day she died. He pressed it to his lips and tasted salt that was not from the sea. At dawn, he tore the letter to pieces. The contest began at sunrise on the 3rd day. 46 glassblowers had already performed. Some were flawless, some shattered their work, some wept openly. The crowd had grown merciless in its applause and its silence. Arden's turn came as the sun reached the highest window. He walked to his station like a man stepping onto ice. The hall fell strangely quiet. Even the furnaces seemed to listen. He uncovered his face for the first time. Scars crossed his cheek where a pipe had burst years ago. His left hand trembled as he lit the glory hole. He did not try to hide it. He took the gather of molten glass, clear as truth. Instead of beginning with a perfect shape, he let the glass sag. Gasps rippled through the crowd. He let it sag further until it almost touched the floor. Then, with a breath that came from somewhere deeper than lungs, he lifted it high and began to spin. The sagging glass became wings. He twisted, pulled, shaped with hands that no longer shook. Fear had burned away in the heat. Only presence remained. A phoenix rose from the marver, wings spread wide, feathers of fire and ice. Every scar on his arms caught the light like rivers of gold. He did not look at the crowd once. He looked only at the glass and at the boy inside himself who had hidden too long. When the final shear cut the piece free, the hall did not cheer at first. It simply breathed. Then the applause came, not polite, but thunderous, unstoppable. The king himself stood. Arden finally met the eyes watching him, and for the first time he did not flinch. The phoenix stood on its marble pedestal, wings catching every torch in the hall. Its heart was hollow, a deliberate chamber where light gathered and burned brighter. The king walked forward, crown catching the same fire. He did not speak of technique or beauty. He said only, "This is what courage looks like in glass." Then he placed the commission for the palace dome into Arden's scarred hands. The applause did not stop until long after the furnaces cooled. Arden bowed, tears cutting clean lines through the soot on his face. He had expected judgment. He received recognition. He had feared exposure. He found belonging. That night, he stood on the palace roof while the city celebrated below. The fear that once paralyzed him now felt distant, like an old skin shed. He understood at last. The fear of being seen had never been about their eyes. It had been about refusing to see himself. By hiding his scars, his tremble, his truth, he had hidden his power. The moment he let himself be fully seen, the obstacle dissolved. Success was not the prize. Being seen as he truly was became the victory. From that day forward, Arden signed every piece with his full name. He taught in the open, scars and stutter and all. Students came not for secrets of glass, but for permission to be imperfect in public. Now let Arden's fire speak directly to the fear that still grips you. The fear of being seen is the last lock on the door to your greatest work. Judgment is coming whether you hide or not. At least let it judge the real you. Start with one small exposure today. Send the message you have been rewriting for months. Post the creation you have kept private for years. Speak the idea in the meeting you have rehearsed only in silence. Let them see the tremor in your hands, the crack in your voice, the raw edge of your dream. That raw edge is where your power lives. Do not wait to be flawless. Flawless is forgettable. Authentic is unforgettable. The world is starving for what only you, exactly as you are, can give. Your scars are not shame, they are story. Your hesitation is not weakness, it is proof you care deeply. Step into the furnace of visibility and let the heat burn away the mask. What remains will be stronger than anything you ever hid behind. Arden's phoenix still flies above the palace, catching every sunrise for centuries. Every child who looks up learns the same lesson carved beneath its wings. I was afraid to be seen, then I was seen, and I became unbreakable. Your audience is already waiting. Your light is already gathered. All that remains is the breath. Take it, blow, be seen. The success you have been chasing has been waiting on the other side of your fear all along. Step through. The glass is ready. The fire is lit. The world is watching, and for the first time, it is ready to see you shine.